Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, ADHD Bossy here, and today we are reacting to Amber Heard exclusive interview with, I think is it NBC or something like that. Yes, 9 minutes long video, and of course it's a fair use because I'm reacting to it, and I have some comments to go with it. So let's do it.
It's been about more than a week since the verdict. As you sit here with me now, has it sunk in? How could it? Surreal and difficult, in part, yes. This has been a long time coming. Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse? Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
Wow. Wow. Actually, I have not watched this whatsoever, so it's like me reacting to it just because everyone was on a hype. So today, wow. After, wouldn't a normal person would definitely go off after the verdict, start thinking of how do I get supporters back? Wouldn't you? A normal person would just turn around and say, "Yeah, I was wrong," and not. She basically just saying, she's still saying the same thing that Johnny Depp hit her. He was physically abusive to her. Wow, Amber. Until her dying day, she will still. But then again, if it's true, if it's true, well, no one believes her.
The real life drama of the defamation case between Amber Heard and her ex husband, Johnny Depp, captivated millions of people around the world.
Amber Heard just got exposed.
Johnny, you hit me.
This is so cringe.
With clips spreading across social media like wildfire. I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think
Vast majority, no dear. We watched you and they were taking the mick out of you. It didn't play out on social media, it was playing in in court. Simple as that. It was actually in court. And the social media was just taking the mick out of you because half of the time you were lying. Jesus.
that this trial is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok. And the jury is not immune to that. You think the jury saw it? How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this.
Do you know what? Nothing is impossible. If you think about it, everybody who, so let's say we're on YouTube, aren't we? So everyone has their own niche. And technically, if certain TikToks you do not see because it's not what you're interested in. The juror, I'm sure they can avoid it, especially when they've been told not to go like on social media or any other platforms because of this. And no, it was avoidable. It depends what you're interested in, Amber.
People online and crowds outside the courthouse made it clear where they stood. Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, "Burn the witch," "Death to Amber." After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand.
Do you know what? Of course, that's not very nice, but 5 to 6 block. And you know the amount of like coverage there was, especially like not mainstream, but a lot of people. I'm sure we would have come across any of the signs saying burn the witch or death to Amber Heard. How come I have never seen that? Or have I avoided that, Amber? I'm sure if I can avoid that, I am sure the jurors also can avoid that.
and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal, energized. Can you put into words how that felt? This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity.
You did that, Amber. She literally did that to herself, and yet she feels humiliated. So, if she really feels she's that sincere, I would have said, she would have said, now I know how Johnny felt, me humiliating him all those years, rather than, oh God, Amber, 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 Amber. It's good though. It's good. She's humiliated if that's how she really feels, because at the end of the day, you've been humiliating Johnny for so many years and even done an op-ed to accuse him of DV. It's terrible. Sorry guys, I'm keep on looking at the screen rather than you. Hello. Don't forget, ADHD here.
I felt less than human. Let's go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident? That's a great question. I wish I could say yes to that. I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation.
Do you
What? What the hell is she going on about social media? There's a reason why it's called social media, Amber. A fair representation. People have their supporters, and Johnny had a lot of supporters because they knew you were lying. And they were supporting Johnny and literally calling you out for your lies. I can look at you in the eye and tell you, Amber, there have been a fair representation of you. Why are you so pressed? This girl is so pressed about social media. It's incredible. It was all to do with the court. The social media's got nothing to do with the court.
find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes.
After the 6-week trial, the jury found Heard defamed Depp in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed in which she wrote she was a public figure representing domestic abuse. She never mentioned her ex-husband by name. Depp denied the abuse allegations and
You don't need to mention, this is the thing that I've always wanted to like point out. She was only married to one guy, as far as I know. So everyone's just gonna know it's Johnny Depp, because unless she was married to 5 other people, she's crazy. Like, well, of course you don't need to mention anyone by name for people to know who you're talking about.
court. Heard won just one of 3 claims in her countersuit against her ex-husband. That verdict came less than 2 years after a judge ruled against Depp in a similar case in the UK.
Oh, come on. The UK one. I followed the UK one here, right? And it wasn't fair on Johnny whatsoever because there's ties between the judge, the judge and someone on Amber Heard's team and stuff like that. So the judge himself was very biased, and I would say, I wonder if you can do something about that judge. Most probably he's already to retire or something because he was very unfair, very I think he was already paid. Allegedly. I'm assuming, it's not allegedly. I'm assuming because there's some there's some bribe somewhere around there. Because there's no way. The court in the UK is when it comes to injustice and evidence, is exactly the same anywhere in the world, unless you're a dodgy kind of person, a dodgy judge. There's no way in hell in UK you can get away with this kind of crap. Seriously.
In which he sued a British newspaper that called him a wife beater.
Oh yeah, and another thing is, of course, I'm a Scouser, right? The Sun, we call it the scum because especially Liverpool, we do not buy that newspaper, especially because of what happened at the football match. Hillsborough, that's the place, and there are evil, disgusting newspaper that no Scouser ever want to hear of. So when you hear the scum newspaper, it means the freaking Sun. Oh yeah, that's another thing is the Sun is dodgy as hell, and it's don't even want to talk about it. The Sun, ugh, the vile little shits.
There was another trial handled it dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept out.
Oh crap! She's talking about her evidence is being kept out. How come she hasn't leaked any of the evidence that they were supposed to be? She's with the TMZ leaking. She loves leaking stuff, right? So why doesn't she leak her evidence? The thing is, what I'm thinking about right now, right? What she's talking about, a lot of the evidence was kept out. This is Johnny back in UK. Because they made sure Johnny's evidence, majority of the evidence, were kept out. Evil little witch, isn't she?
Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court. Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will say his lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
Ooh. His lawyer did not distract the jury from the bigger issue, Amber. You lie. You were doing more. You were trying to distract a lot of people. Not only the jurors, but those creepy looking at the jurors. Never ever answer the lawyer. You'll be turning around and looking at the jurors. We know you. We know you.
For some people, They just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either.
Oh my god, she actually in this interview she looks like a little girl. Going. I can't think of the word in English right now. It's only in Swahili. Kamakaonewa.
One of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their worst. But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that. This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation. And that
Thank you, Miss Interviewer. Yes, the First Amendment does not protect lies, Amber. Get it through your head.
was the issue in the case.
Yes, exactly. You can't go into the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks.
This is like she trying to explain about like the makeup kit and how it works. The makeup kit? No, the bruise kit and how it works. So she's giving us a lesson on free speech.
My understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
But truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke.
Okay,
I
Amber.
spoke it to power and I paid the price.
What power is she talking about? It's not like the big Illuminati. Oh. Do you know what? I never actually saw the Coca-Cola. I'm addicted to Coca-Cola. And it kind of helps when you're ADHD. Cheers, Johnny.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting. What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers.
She actually looks like she was about to cry. Like genuinely wants to cry, not like the one in court. Oh my god. She's actually hilarious. No, I don't think they meant that way that you were good at performing. Amber, dear, I think they meant like the worst performance you've ever done in your whole life. Yeah, you're kind of crap. When they say you gave a performance of a lifetime, I think it wasn't a compliment, dear. Yeah.
I'm the performer. I had listened to weeks of testimony insinuating that or saying quite directly that I'm a terrible actress.
You are, dear. Your performance in court was awful. Awful.
So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The Depp team argued that
No, you can't be both. We're just saying you give your best and it was terrible. That's why the social media was taking the mick out of you, love.
you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes becomes normal, as I testified to. You have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation, of how to talk about that.
Wow, those are negotiations. Amber, you did not sound like you were negotiating anything, dear. Oh my god. Amber, dear, no, stop, just stop, just admit you were wrong and move on. Stop going on and on about your lies, and you can constantly lying. Wow.
With your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context, but you're testifying.
Yes, you do understand context, dear. I think Amber doesn't know. She needs a bit of a help.
You're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
As I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white. Because
What the fuck did she just say? Let me just go back. Like, seriously. What the fuck did she just say?
Understand context, but you're testifying and you're just telling me today, I never started a physical fight, and here you are on tape saying you did.
as I testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are
Did she just speak gibberish, but in English? Okay, fine. This woman is crazy. What the hell did she just say? She said a lot of words which meant nothing at all. That made no bloody sense. What is wrong with this woman? For real, what's wrong with this woman? It's like me speaking to you guys in Swahili and telling you. I'm telling you things. I'm telling you it's actually English. Shall I do it? Unajua huyu Amber Heard kazungumza kitu kiloko hata hakijafahamika. La haula. That's basically it. It's like me listening to her in English and it made no sense. And I'm sure you guys who's watching, I've spoken Swahili there. Yes, I do speak Swahili.
other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am a victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer. As I test,
No, Amber. She's still trying to justify the tapes?
Testified to, I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He
And it
says he
doesn't-
never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
Did she just say she's still saying that? Oh my God, she just admitted. Oh my God. So we listened to a complete, all the audios saying that you start physical fights. And never once in those audios you ever mentioned Johnny, you start a physical fight. And I'm just responding to them. Wow. Isn't this still like a defamation because she's still carrying on saying lies? Maybe she dreams. Or well, maybe she's a bit loop-de-doo, and she takes a bit of things. So maybe she hallucinates when she takes them, and she thinks like Johnny's hitting her or something.
What about the witnesses who said they
I don't do
have
drugs.
seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank and support the person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of these witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as a person who sat there.
When I asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? And the answer I got was because she never took responsibility for anything.
Yes. Amber did not take no responsibility for anything at all. That is the reason why. Sorry. Sorry, I've got a squeaky chair. That is the reason why.
She did in the marriage.
And yes, ADHD, I can't keep still, sorry. I'm not farting. Seriously.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my do and
Anything
Did
she
just,
did
like,
in the marriage.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong. I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the.
Wow. She finally admits it. Well done. Well done, Amber. Like, seriously, she finally admits it. What was so hard in that, Amber? For you to do it in court. Maybe you would have won if you would have done it in court.
The other half of this relationship
But I guess you're not that clever.
because I was. And it was ugly and could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We were awful to each other. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. But I've always told the truth.
Wow! Finally, this is part 1. So we're going to react to part 2 tomorrow. Alright guys, ADHD Bossy here and I'm logging off. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye!